What is going on, everybody? We're back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. It is Tuesday, January 23rd, fresh off the heels of Monday Night Raw and a gigantic Monday Night Raw announcement that we won't fully fledge today because we will be talking about it over the course of the next 2 days. But I do have to mention The Rock appeared on ESPN's First Take today with Molly Kiram, Stephen A. Smith, and of course, Big Unc, Shannon Sharp. Interesting show. He had some interesting things to say, including the fact that the dude got the name The Rock for himself. He's got The Rock. He can be The Rock. And not only that, he's got a seat on the board of directors of TKO. Believe it or not, some unbelievable stuff. He did bring up Roman Reigns and things like that too. But today, we're going to have to break down Monday Night Raw first and foremost. That's going to be the most important subject on today's show. And I got to have a stacked panel if I'm going to break down Monday Night Raw on a day like this. So, of course, I've got one. It's stacked. First, let me toss this out to Regina, Canada. Last second, figures it out. Leaky ceiling and all, ready to rock and roll. Our head of reviewing, Coby Galenzoski. How are you doing on this Tuesday afternoon, my friend?
Well, it would have been less stressful if I didn't have to do that. But now I'm here in a different spot. I'm here in a different place in my house. You can guess where it is. I'm on something long. That's your guess. But I'm here. I'm ready to talk Monday Night Raw. Exactly. It's a couch. I'm ready to talk the show I reviewed, where I thought they did a lot of really good storytelling and storyline advancement. But of course, I'll get into it when I have the chance. You have other people to introduce, don't you?
Perfect. I couldn't be more stoked, Coby, too. And do, if you are keeping the list, add to your list of mythical podcasters when they're at their finest, Couch Coby. Because I have no doubt Couch Coby is going to be just a delightful. That's pretty much like Motivated McGregor. It's basically the same concept, right? It's in shape Chimaev. It's Couch Coby. I'm ready to go with Couch Coby. But first, I also have to introduce, of course, the host of Take It to the Table. It's Chaos. It's RC Tuesday. How are you feeling, my friend?
What's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? Yes, happy Tuesday. You know what that means. Coby, I'm glad you actually clarify what you meant. You were sitting on something long because I was about to shout pause, but it's all good. We all good. It's all happy. We're all here. Yeah, we had to talk about Raw as well as all the craziness that's been happening, and we're just only in the third week of 2024. So we can only go up from here. But yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about this stacked episode of Raw. Let's get straight to it, shall we?
I cannot wait to get into it, but we do also have one more to introduce. And who had it on their bingo card that the biggest return in the last 24 hours in all of wrestling would occur on Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast and not on Monday Night Raw, broadcasting live from Chile. My good buddy, Ignacio. Good to have you back, Ignacio. How are you this afternoon? Afternoon, my friend, right? Yeah, time zone wise. Are you muted? I think you're muted.
Feeling good. I feel good. It's great to be back on the show. I miss almost all of you all. I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about Monday Night Raw leading up to the Royal Rumble. The very first wrestling match I've ever saw was the 1989 Royal Rumble, where Axe and Smash with Demolition were number 1 and number 2. That was the first match I ever saw. So the Royal Rumble has a special place in my heart. But before, I like to do some, I guess you could say, house cleaning or some official business on the air here. I am calling for a review of the conduct of one Mr. Chaos of Wrestling Republic and Take It to the Table for some unsolicited comments that he's made on social media about myself. Unsolicited. I like to emphasize the unsolicited comments by Mr. Chaos. And I think you and Ben, we got the head of review here, Mr. Coby. And then you, Clark, one of the staples of Wrestling Republic and the Daily Show. I'm calling for a review of the conduct of one Mr. Chaos for unsolicited attacks.
Oh, I gotta admit, I hear where you're coming from. I loved the viral clip. I think the Ignacio that we get on Take It to the Table might have just been reawakened by that clip in and of itself. And upon you, Ignacio, gotta say,
go on.
Jacked Ignacio that everyone was looking for here, ready to go back to the table. Chaos. I gotta get your thoughts on that.
That is why that's why I said those comments, to bring out that fire. I want to be ready, guns blazing, and not make these asinine comments. I want the raw, uncut, cocaine filled.
the fire is there. Not literally, figuratively.
Yeah, not literally. Well, you know what I mean. I want that uncut.
That escalated so quickly, Chaos.
Yeah, I know. I don't. Yeah,
wanted to wake the beast.
I was thinking caffeine as far as stimulants were concerned.
That's the one. I'm so sorry, Ben.
That's what he meant. He meant coffee. We got a few comments over on Instagram. Coach 23 said, "What's up, Clark? What's up, Coach 23?" I think from all of us, thank you so much for tuning in. We've got Kinwood with a bunch of fire emojis. We appreciate that so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. We got another one, Charlie Esparza, who's predicting the final four of the Rumble, which would be Punk, Cody, Drew, and Gunther. I mean, that's not a bad final four. I don't mind it. I know as the week goes on, we're going to get more and more into Rumble predictions. So do stay tuned for that. But I don't mind that as an early prediction final four. I think that makes a ton of sense. With that, though, let's get into the topics for today. Let's talk Seth Rollins and Gunther. I think a lot of us thought Seth was hurt. And, well, he is hurt, right? Let's be honest with ourselves. Seth's still hurt, right? Is he cleared to wrestle? Are we going to see him at Mania? For sure. I think this to me is fascinating, though. Gunther and his involvement with Seth, champion versus champion, face to face. It's an interesting choice, and it's not one I saw coming, because you have incredible autonomy with both of these titles over on Monday Night Raw right this second. Right? Truth be told, they're two of the best active champions, maybe in any promotion. And that's hard to deny. But if they're going to have the big match, sign me up. I mean, it's two of the best talents in the industry. Chaos, I want to get your thoughts on the entire encounter. We have Seth healthy enough to wrestle. What were your thoughts on Seth and Gunther?
Yeah, I mean, this took everyone by surprise. The fact that when we heard about the extent of his injury, everyone thought that the writing was on the wall. Even though there wasn't a clear, we didn't know the severity of it. We do know that it was a tear, but we didn't know what the severity was. But usually when it comes to this kind of stuff, and he has a long history of knee issues, and a lot of scares regarding his knee, we automatically thought the worst. And the way he came out, his demeanor was all, just very somber, just down. He wasn't his self, and he was all braced up. And then but yeah, very interesting interaction with Gunther. It's definitely a match I would not say no to. And then obviously Seth comes out saying, "Yeah, I'm not gonna drop the title, and I will aim to be at Mania." So it's gonna be very interesting how they're gonna keep him in the loop up until Mania. But right now, essentially, he's turned into Roman Reigns now, being a part-timer, just holding the title until one of the big 4 pay-per-views, if you will. But it's within good reason. So yeah, I'm here for it. I'm very intrigued to see where they're gonna go with the Rumble. That this is the perfect conundrum to have if you're a wrestling company. You have this is the most unpredictable Rumble coming up. Like, it could easily go 3 or 4 ways, and that's what you love to see. It's not just a clear-cut winner. Yeah, one clearly they're definitely angling up for Seth Rollins against Gunther later down the line. I would totally be up for that if it's somehow, if Seth does keep the title up until August, have Gunther win the title at Bash of Berlin against Seth. That would be the perfect place to do it. But yeah, other than that, it was a nice little twist. Glad to hear that Seth is still aiming to be at Mania. If he does, and we do get Rollins and Punk, I'm all here for it. Or Punk, Rollins, and Gunther. Why not? I'm so here for it. Let's just cover Seth Rollins with cotton until Mania, please. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, solid start to the to Raw.
No question. I could not agree more. I thought it was a great way to open things out of the gates. And more importantly than that, I think you made a great point there about Seth. And we have an interesting comment here from Bobby Petito, which is maybe Seth Rollins wrestles at Elimination Chamber before WrestleMania. He did specifically say his goal is Mania. And given the injury, I think Mania is our best bet.
Yeah.
To risk further injury, and that's what is kind of, backwards in this situation that makes it so brutal, is on paper the idea of Seth Rollins being the working champion, as he'd stated in promos and whatnot, right? There's only really one thing that can derail that, and that's an injury. And unfortunately, that's what happened.
But another thing as well, this kind of adds to his being the workhorse champion. He's having all these injuries, like the stuff with Shinsuke as well with his back. Now, obviously, even though that was a work, but this could also be added to the story that is putting his body on apart from him. Sorry, and then obviously he eventually will fall. The question is who? Could it be Damian Priest? Could it be Punk? Who knows? It's just that's the interesting thing. That's the interesting thing about it between now and Mania.
There is a lot there too, and I love that you mentioned Damian Priest. I'm starting to get nervous though about Priest carrying this briefcase this long. Right? We turned it purple, and that's about all we've done. Coby, I know that you reviewed the show last night, correct? Me if I'm wrong on that. Reviewed the show.
No, yeah.
What were your thoughts on the opening segment? And also, what was your rating? I'm actually super curious about that. Unfortunately, I haven't seen the article. I should normally know that, but what was your rating for the promo segment last night?
So, because you're going to make me say the rating instead of making the viewer go to the website, of course, it was a 4.25. I thought this was very well done. You have a crowd that's very interested in what Seth is doing, and you have, this is the thing. The point of this promo felt real. What I want to propose is that, to me right now, this is what I want to see at WrestleMania. I do not really want to see Rollins versus Punk when Rollins can't fully give it his all. He's going to be injured. He's going to be working hurt. He's going to be in the position where it's not that he's going to struggle at the point, but we don't know if he's going to be able to give a classic with CM Punk when he's hurt and he's injured. Because that also adds a aspect of predictability. Because the predictability is I assume Seth is going to drop the title just to drop it at WrestleMania instead of relinquishing and then new champion. I think he's going to walk into WrestleMania and lose, and I would not be shocked or disappointed if the move is Gunther. Gunther developed the fact that he has respect for Seth. They both have similar championship reigns where they're being viewed as workhorses. They're being viewed as fighting champions. And Gunther putting that nail in the coffin saying, and if this match does happen, I am going to be the guy to target your back. I am going to target the knee. It makes Gunther seem like a killer in my eyes. It adds that aspect of, okay, this is the ring general, this is the ring technician. He's going to be able to do so much to an injured wrestler. I'd be very much interested in this match if you want to save Punk and Rollins for another time, which I think is a good move.
I totally agree with you there. We've got a comment over here on Instagram from Leo NTU12_7, which is soy el único que te está viendo, and then creo, which is, of course, I'm the only one watching you, and then believe, which not the case. We got 5 and 5 on each platform at least. You're one of many, and thank you for tuning in, my friend. I do appreciate that out of you. I will say this, though. As far as the Seth thing is concerned, lack of injury is a big deal. I enjoy it. I think it's important that he is a part of this Mania card. I don't want him to be derailed along the way if he is healthy along the way. Ignacio, I got to ask you, what did we do or what do we do if Seth isn't available at Mania? And also, how did you feel about the segment last night? But if Seth isn't available to compete, what do we do with this world title? And is that why Gunther is on the opposite side of this? You there, Ignacio? Oh, I think we got a technical difficulty. We got a freeze. Sorry, Ignacio. We'll get that worked out. We'll move on to the next segment, and Ignacio, we'll get your thoughts on Seth and everything. Are you back? You good?
I'm back. I'm good.
Okay, good. Okay. Yes, your thoughts on Seth and Gunther.
I thought it was an interesting segment, and I thought it was good because they interject Gunther in there just in case that Seth can't make it to Mania. Because I think it was me and Coby were talking about this before off the air, that I think it was 33, WrestleMania 33, where Seth wrestled Triple H, and I think he had the same injury. I think he had a tore MCL, and they made it a no holds barred match to accommodate the injury. That way, they didn't have to do too much. They just did a lot of brawling. But WWE has a more sophisticated wellness program and health program, in that they're a little bit more cautious on taking care of their superstars, I believe, nowadays. So if there's a chance that during rehab that there's a chance that Seth might not make it to WrestleMania, then maybe you can do something where they have like a quick match on a Raw or on a SmackDown, because from what I understand, Gunther can't wrestle in Perth because of some visa issues or something like that.
Right.
They can do a quick title drop to Gunther, or they can just interject Gunther into the main event at WrestleMania, whether that be, him winning the Royal Rumble or what have you. But either way, a very good segment. The only thing I have a complaint on, it kind of seems that, and there's this issue that's also been addressed on AEW, is that I think the segment ran kind of long. I think it went kind of long, and it just seems kind of like these guys they're of course they're scripted and so forth, but it seems like it comes to a point where either they give them bullet points and they forget on what they're trying to say, or they're just trying to elongate the segment. I think they needed to be a little bit shorter. I know that Cody Rhodes is the suit guy in WWE, but I don't know. I just like Gunther coming out more as a professional, because he is a professional. He is the embodiment of a professional wrestler. So I like to see him come out in a suit. I think that fits him very well. But I thought it was a very interesting confrontation, and definitely something to look forward towards the future. And Gunther's a main event player. I mean, he's the top of the mid card, but he is a main event player, no question about it. And eventually, he is gonna be the world's heavyweight champion. And I think they just wanted the thing they wanted to address was this segment is that, hey, Gunther is a main event player, and just in case Seth can't go, Gunther's gonna be right there, and maybe we'll see Gunther win the Royal Rumble, or maybe we'll see him take over as the world heavyweight champion in some form or fashion before WrestleMania. We'll see him in that main event picture in WrestleMania. But I thought it was a pretty good segment, pretty good confrontation, and a very good stimulant to wrestling fans, giving them something to look forward to.
100%. I agree, and I like the use of Gunther in this scenario. I think it makes a ton of sense to have Gunther involved with the world title picture. the link to the Intercontinental title to me is interesting. That's where I'm like, wait a minute, he's carried this and kind of built this belt as the ultimate mid-card belt, if you want to call it that, because I think he could main event a pay-per-view if the right story was told, carrying that Intercontinental title. And part of that is because I truly do actually believe in the gimmick with Imperium and with everything that they have going. It makes a more than enough sense to me. It's just logical. And sometimes in wrestling, go ahead, Ignacio.
Yeah, absolutely, because and it'd be a good transition because Seth Rollins has done such a tremendous job at legitimizing that world heavyweight title. Who better to have as your next world champion than somebody who's re-legitimized the Intercontinental title in Gunther?
It adds up, and usually when we're talking about wrestling from a figurative standpoint, it's hard to have the math add up perfectly every time. That's one of those that does the additions there. Coby, with that though, we got to talk Imperium because we've got Giovanni Vinci back. He's back. Not only that, against the New Day, tag team action, and then we got a double count out. Now, if you don't go to the website and actually check out the article and the review to see his ratings, you only get one a show. So I'm not going to ask you your rating on this one, Coby. You only get one a show. Go to the website and read it. Seriously, right? Mm-hmm. But give us a little scoop. Give us a little nugget. What did you think about the return of Vinci, the double countout finish, and how this maybe affects the tag team title picture? Because the tag team title picture is so far away from the main event this year by comparison to last year. When we're talking about the calendar year, what do the tag team titles look like at Mania this year?
So that's the thing, is I have no idea what the title division looks like at WrestleMania. I don't know who's in line. I assume Finn Balor and Priest aren't going to drop those titles anytime soon unless something is going to go wrong. To me, this is the one thing that seems to be happening on Raw, and it's happening often. I don't want to say it's every week, but it's almost every other week we are getting some form of count-out result. To me, I don't want to say I'm getting sick of it, because I'm not getting sick of it, but it's getting a little repetitive. I get it. You get the count-out victory. You get the post-match angle where they're brawling through. I thought it was very well done. And they normally are knocking those out of the park. Where we saw what was one from a month ago was Bronson Reed and Ivar. They were brawling and then they started to use the security on each other. It was fun. It was a hoss fight. This one had the intensity. You had the crowd. They had the camera angle where you could see the crowd. They are recording what is happening outside. Not in the area, but on the outside the ring, in the crowd. They are physically recording it and watching it because it is that type of moment. It's like they are brawling right in front of me. That you could see that, and I thought that was very well done. I thought them taking themselves out by doing the table spot, I thought it looked well. I am kind of getting not necessarily sick of the DQ finishes, but I feel like they're really adding oomph to the storyline. The Vinci's injury, of course, it is not a storyline. He got hurt. He got a concussion or whatever it was officially diagnosed, because they never revealed it. But they're really giving us oomph with the New Day and Imperium. I'm excited for Kofi Kingston versus Gunther next week. I thought that was another part where it's like, okay, they are really setting up a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of issues, and there's intensity. The dynamics aren't forced, and I thought it's very well done. The match itself wasn't anything special. We saw better tag team wrestling last week, but this was good because it wasn't a much longer match that ended in a DQ, or not a DQ countout. It went a good amount of time before ultimately being made a draw.
Absolutely, and that's where it's funny. Like I had to make the joke about it being a draw. One of those matches where like card placement could have told you draw long before they rang the bell. If you really think about it, right? If we're looking at New Day and Imperium and it super matters and they're going to get the time, it's not going to be where it was placed on the card last night. And so non-finish makes a lot of sense, right? That's kind of what you get in that scenario.
It
Now,
does, but I mean, even last week we had DIY versus Dominic and
right?
JD,
We did.
and it was a match that was the opening match, the first match after the
It
promo,
got
and
it
it was very well done and a totally different match in comparison to this one.
given time. Now let's talk the women's rumble really quick, because this to me was the first true preview we've seen, and it's week of. I right, men's rumble we've seen some build towards. Women's rumble, this was the true definition of like three real contenders from the Raw brand going after each other and talking about it. Nia enters first. You have Becky Lynch entering next, Bayley entering after that. You have all three involved in some jawing, some classic promotional work as best you can. Everybody's going out there and one-upping each other. I don't know how much came out of this though, because to be honest, I still feel like Bayley has to win this Rumble for anything to make sense. As good as the promo was, Becky Lynch, give her a microphone and just let her talk, and I'm cool. That's entertaining. Normally, period. But we got to show some strength out of Bayley out of this, what I believe is a Rumble win. So I got to ask, Chaos, your thoughts on the promo and the women's Rumble as a whole here.
Yeah, this one I feel like out of both Rumbles, I feel this one's more clean cut. I also agree. I think legit, like just logically, Bayley is the most favorite to win. There's no one else that's worthy of it. One thing I do know, I do feel with WWE, it all depends on how they portray stuff in their wording, and if they keep putting these certain sentences constantly at you, 9 times out of 10 it's not going to happen. So that's what they did with Becky Lynch, in terms of they kept saying like, could she win? Could she be a 2-time winner? Could she be a 2-time winner? Could she be a 2-time winner? And I don't think, that just makes me feel like, she's not going to win it. I feel like the scenario that we gave Cody Rhodes, in terms of if he didn't win the Rumble, he can win the Elimination Chamber. I feel like that's what they're gonna give to Becky Lynch. I feel like that's the only way that she's gonna be able to get her hands on Rhea Ripley. If Bayley wins, obviously she's gonna go for Io Sky. Rhea needs needs a dance partner. Out of all of them, logistically, logically, I should say, it will be Becky Lynch. That's what they are, portray. That's what they're giving us right now to say that's the end game. So, it's gonna be a fun Rumble, but I feel like out of everyone, Bayley is definitely odds-on favorite and is more deserving, because like everyone in the group but her is doing well right now. She needs a good W, and you need something momentous for her to go back to a baby face, and winning the Rumble and facing Io Sky for the championship and finally regain it would be befitting. So I'm all for it. I'm very curious to see. And I'm glad. One thing I'm also glad as well is that they haven't announced so many entrants yet. I think so far they've only announced like 4 or 5. Keep it as it is right there. Let it keep on going. And then I want to be surprised this Rumble. So I'm loving it.
I completely agree, Chaos, and excuse me by the way there for coughing on that. But no, I completely agree that like this women's Rumble, with the lack of announcements, the amount of surprise capable, that's my favorite part about the Rumble. Personally, right? Is, oh no, it's them. Like, whoever it may be isn't necessarily going to win every time, or it could be a surprise winner. That those do exist, but the surprises are half the fun of the Rumble in my eyes. It's what makes this event so great. It's one of my favorite events of the year.
Am I correct in saying, wasn't there like 2 years in a row where they literally announced every person in there?
Yeah, they announced far too many. There was one surprise. The year that I botched my Rumble party and won my own Rumble pool.
Oh yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah,
When Brock won.
2020. Yeah, 2022 when those two Rumbles, like that's the thing.
Yeah.
They announced Mickey James as when she was
Dumb.
Knockouts champion. Like even spur of the moment, I think you almost would have got a better pop. But they announced them. They announced the Bellas. They announced the only surprise for that one was Ronda, and then Ronda actually won it. But no,
Yeah,
they did that 2 years ago, and I dislike that.
No, not as fun. No, less announcements. I don't want to know everybody that's in it, and I don't want everybody declaring that they're in it or wrestling to get in it. I don't. No.
I mean, I know even that's dumb, but I feel like that's always going to happen.
It is. There's going to be some, but like,
yeah,
they haven't done a qualifier yet.
It's this year. I think is the first time I've ever seen, not ever, but like in a long time.
Yeah,
where there hasn't been a single Rumble qualifying match booked.
Yeah, which is good.
I mean, I agree with not doing a qualifier,
right?
But that could always be a motive for a match. Is like, I want to get momentum. I want to get this win against Cameron Grimes or whatever. Like, I think that's always a good momentum to say, hey, I want to be in the position where I get an entrance into the Rumble, not just, oh, I'm here to qualify. Woo! No, it's not a good time.
100%. And with that, let's talk about last night's main event before we talk about our own personal main event, which is what I believe everybody who viewed it thought was the main event. But let's talk about the way that Raw booked it, which was Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre, Mr. Money in the Bank, carrying a briefcase that Drew, given his current attitude, might not just be jealous of, but might look at something like, you're kidding me. Of all people, I won my title in front of no fans, all of this, all of that. As he stated, it's what I love about the current character, the current turn for Drew. Damian Priest has that. He's got that first class ticket basically just gifted to him like frequent flyer miles. And it's, he can book up in the front row. He gets the free cookies. And that's where you can tell Drew's upset about it. He wins via Claymore. I think that makes a ton of sense outside of how long have we been devaluing this Money in the Bank briefcase? What in the world is going on here? He is such a non-threat to any world title. I mean, Austin Theory was a bigger threat to the United States title carrying the briefcase last year. And we all know what kind of a hot mess that was. It was, he was spraying body oil in Bobby Lashley's eyes. It was bad. But we've got Priest taking the loss. Ignacio, I want to know, where do you think Drew slots in at Mania, and what were your thoughts on last night's match? You there?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was waiting a few seconds because I thought Chaos was going to mess with my feet again.
Sky.
So, man, so the match was good. I mean, it was a hard-hitting match. Two big, bulging guys, slappy meat, as they say, or what have you. But I love heel Drew, and I think there's a lot you can do with heel Drew. And from what I've heard or read online or what have you, is that he hasn't signed yet an extension or another deal, and I hope he does, because there's a lot you can do with a heel Drew McIntyre. And I think this heel turn was a long time coming. But you talked about how much they've devalued the Money in the Bank briefcase. And number one, I'm not a big fan of the Money in the Bank concept, but man, I just don't see Damian Priest post Money in the Bank victory. I just don't see him as a main event guy. And I just, I don't take him seriously as a main eventer. I don't think he should be carrying the briefcase. If anything, I think Austin Theory was more believable and more of a threat as a Money in the Bank participant, because he just kind of played that cocky, little turd, weasel role so well that it was kind of believable that he would be that coward that would kind of like go in there and cash in the Money in the Bank, and it was believable that's the way he's gonna win, because he's a weasel, little cocky little turd. And just Damian Priest I don't think he's a very good promo. I think he's very monotone. I think maybe he might be over scripted, and that's what's hurting him. I think Rhea Ripley has more cojones than he does. As far as like being the leader of the Judgment Day, I don't think he's very believable. I don't like his booking. Mm-hmm. But let me tell you, out of all of this, that I kind of hope happens, and by all means, I'm not comparing Jerry Lawler to R-Truth. Jerry Lawler is one of my all-time favorite wrestlers, but Jerry Lawler, I know he had the WrestleMania match with Michael Cole, and that was BS. But Jerry Lawler, if anybody deserved a WrestleMania moment, it's Jerry Lawler. But I'm comparing this to the R-Truth situation. If anybody deserves a WrestleMania moment, and I mean a real WrestleMania moment, it's R-Truth.
Yeah.
And I think it's good that they have him involved in this Judgment Day storyline. And I think it's good, his involvement with the Judgment Day and his involvement last night with the main event, is because I think if anybody deserves a WrestleMania moment, it's R-Truth. And I hope that that's what they're building towards, because from an entertainment standpoint, from a worker standpoint, R-Truth is ace in the hole. And I think if there's anything comes out of this, it's R-Truth getting a WrestleMania match or a WrestleMania moment that's going to be memorable, because he deserves it.
I love that. I agree with that 100% on R-Truth. And not only that, he's into Judgment Day.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly say, is that am I hearing Ignacio actually agreeing with humor? I thought he was more into like
he's guys, this is an iconic moment. Ignacio, yes.
Hell froze over. All right, cool.
That is what just happened. Yes. We will be ice skating down south today.
Bro, the guy, what is he, 52? 53?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I think.
Well, John Cena was a childhood hero, so I thought he was maybe in his 30s.
Well, I mean, I want R-Truth. I want R-Truth's diet. I want his cosmetic, facial, whatever he does, whatever. But
hey, you know the old saying.
Okay.
You know the old saying.
You know the old saying with all the old territory guys. The old saying with all the old territory guys, saying that funny don't make money. True to an extent, but it's just, R-Truth is.
He also put in work as a serious worker, right? That's
exactly.
To your point, his career arc is pretty incredible, because he's put in amazing serious work. He's put in amazing comedic work. He's earned his staying power, his entertainment value. It's different than just a true comedic wrestler, right?
Correct. Yes.
It's not that it's just about comedy. It's a pro at not just the wrestling side, the entertainment side, but guess what? He's also funny, and that's being taken advantage of. And that's where it doesn't feel like your intelligence is being insulted. So I do hear where you're coming from on that when it comes to R-Truth 100%. But we do have to get into our last segment of the day. We're running out of time here, guys. I'm so sorry about that. But it is CM Punk, Chicago-made Punk, the Punker, as I like to call him these days, the Punker, and Cody Rhodes. What do we want to talk about? We're talking about it. We got two Titans in the ring for a promo. I'm all excited about it. And then they had a pillow fight. I mean, what?
No.
That was the best they could do? There were more jabs at AEW by putting two of the same guys in the ring than there were at each other. They had a pillow fight. I've utilized sock'em boppers on my own friends more violently than that promo went. And sock'em boppers, you have to blow them up. It's a hassle. They're very padded. Chaos. I got to get your thoughts on the promo.
Oh boy. Well, what part do you want to talk about? I mean, yeah, it was. I mean, for what it was, as much as it could have been a lot more. I feel like if they really wanted to go at it, I think it could have broke the internet if they really wanted to. But you definitely got a sense that they got told big no-nos, like don't do this, don't say that. He's the company guy. You just came in, you can't be throwing jabs. I was ready for a barn burner. I was ready to like hear some madness, scorched earth on each other. Like, why not? And like, if anything, just build it up, because that's what I thought they were doing. They were being friendly at first, and then obviously CM Punk saying that no, I'm more of an American dream than you ever were. All this kind of stuff. So I thought it was definitely escalating it, going higher and higher. And yeah, they just really kept it PG Punk, really. And that's the annoying thing. I'm just waiting for the day that for Punk to snap and then just be not eating muffins Punk, but just that person that is just spits nothing but venom and fire down the mic. And Cody is the right person to do it. If it's not Cody, then it's Seth. And I feel like probably they're saving that for when him and Seth actually do interact again properly against each other, when they actually start feuding. But yeah, I agree. This was a bit of a pillow fight for what it was, especially with the hype that they were giving it. It's not really a good start, but I know the interactions in the Rumble is going to be great. And that's what I'm here for. But this definitely solidified my pick for the Royal Rumble. I feel like definitely how they were bigging Cody up and they were talking about the records all like across the whole night. And yeah, this promo, this pretty much solidified my pick for the Rumble. And yeah, I think they made their mind up, even though they had Punk in WWE. So which I'm here for. This is the right path for them to go with. But yeah, this promo itself was it was mid.
Yeah,
Very PG.
It was pillow fight adjacent at the very least. Coby, before I do toss this to you, Ignacio, I do have to acknowledge you obviously have better verbal jabs than I'm more CM Punk than you, and I'm more Dusty Rhodes than you. So I want to know what your thoughts were on the promo itself when it comes to this one. Are you in agreement with me and Cass on that one? Like, it just felt like a bit of a pillow fight, little pitter patter, bag tapping, as they would call it in boxing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was WWE-esque. I mean, what do you want? That's why I think this is why I think that MJF wouldn't be MJF in WWE.
Facts.
Because he wouldn't be able to get away with what he did in AEW. It's that I think this was just to solidify that the Royal Rumble match is going to be the Cody and CM Punk show, other than whatever surprises they're going to have or whatever. But it's going to be between Cody and CM Punk, and this solidified that. And then, I guess the wild card would be Gunther. But other than that, I mean, I would be more interested. And we don't know yet, but I mean, like, because they made it a fatal four-way, Roman and against LA Knight and Randy Orton and AJ Styles. I'd be more excited if LA Knight was in the Rumble, because how hot he was, and we don't know if he is, but I mean, more than likely he might not be. But if LA Knight was in the Rumble, and then of course maybe Jey Uso's in the Rumble, I think he is, but if he was in the Rumble. And I just think it would make it more exciting if we had more. But it could be this guy. Yeah, if it could be this guy type of thing, but it just solidified it that it's going to be the Cody and CM Punk show and the Royal Rumble. It's going to be either or. I'm not saying I'm disappointed, because everything leading up to WrestleMania is usually obvious, but you know what I mean. So it's not surprising, right. But it's interesting. But I mean, it just was what it was. It was a WWE promo shot.
I totally agree. We had an awesome comment here from Charlie Esparza. He said that promo for Rhodes and Punk felt safe. I agree with that. Coby, I've seen your facials. I saw your initial reaction. Body language. Defend this thing. Defend this pillow fight, Coby. Tell me why it was good.
Ultimately, the question I ask is, what were you expecting? Because this
Besides
is
a pillow fight, better.
It wasn't a pillow fight. We had a lot of history. We have Punk talking about his history with Dusty Rhodes. We have those shots. Maybe they aren't the most not. I was fine with I'm more of an American dream than you. I'm more CM Punk than you. I thought that was good because that's effective. These are two proud people. Cody Rhodes is proud of who he is. He's proud of being a Rhodes. Punk is proud of the path he's taken. They've acknowledged the pipe bomb and the impact they had on both of their careers. They acknowledged Punk walking out. I don't know what pillow you were seeing being thrown. I thought it was very well done because keep in mind this is meant to build a rumble, not build their future rivalry. I don't need to see them tell every single part of their story that
Ooh,
they can connect
I
to
hear you,
tell a
Coby.
story in one
Only because we're
promo.
low on
I don't
time,
need to
I am
see
going to
that.
cut you quickly
need
there.
to
I
see
think
that
the
yet.
larger issue at hand is, I think that there is enough, given the story, the background between the two, the shot at AEW that it was, as much as they're building the Rumble, why choose those two for any other reason? And I think that's part of it, because those two being so great about it, lobbing very soft jabs at each other. This wasn't
It developed tension.
it.
It did.
There was some tension. It was more exciting to see the two in the ring than it was in execution. And that's just my personal belief. I completely understand where you're coming from, though, Coby. And no knock. Ignacio, Chaos, thank you guys all for being on the show today. That does bring us to the end of the show. On behalf of all of Wrestling Republic, please like and subscribe if you can. Go check out Take It to the Table if you haven't already. And if you haven't already, like, what have you been doing? But in all seriousness, like, yeah, well, why are you wasting your time? It's a heck of a show. Not only that, it means the world to us. All the comments, all of that. Tune in tomorrow. It will be the same time at the same place. That's noon Pacific. That's 3 in the East. That's 2 Central. That's 8 o'clock over in the UK. And of course, 9 a.m. in Hawaii. Everybody have an excellent night. And we will talk to you all.